presidential elections, okay, this is a giant uncertainty, no doubt about it. We don't know exactly who's going to be president. We don't know exactly what the policies are going to be or how they're going to change. But here's what we do know, and we're going to stick with what we do know. There's been 6 other times in the modern era where presidents have gone into the, after an 8th year, had an election. And during those 8 years, which is what 2016 is, the average return during those years is about negative 6.6%. So generally speaking, 8-year terms are not great years for the stock market. And why is that? It's really because those presidents are maybe more concerned about, their legacy and doing some policy things than they are about creating new fiscal stimulus and economic programs to help the economy in future years. In the 8th year, they're done, with all of that kind of stuff. So, generally speaking, it's not a great year typically for this kind of stuff. This chart, I really like this chart. It tells you what the breakdown is between having an incumbent party win or a non-incumbent party win. You're looking for it in your chart. It's not in your chart. It's a late ad, and it's from our institutional research, so I didn't add it. But what you can see here is when you have an incumbent party that wins, this is this dotted line right here, you typically have a good stock market in the year of an election. In fact, it gets a lot better somewhere. I got to toggle up to see the bottom axis. It gets better somewhere around August, September. You can see here that about mid-year there's a lot of confusion, negative, whatever. Somewhere around August, September, it starts moving higher, and it moves quite a bit higher, really from about 104.5 up to 112. So a good 7 to 8% increase. However, when the incumbent party loses, that's the blue line. It really doesn't get any better. At first, it starts to go up when there's hope, but then it rolls over into the election, and then it's flat for the rest of the year. So here's the point. The months of August, September, and October are going to be good if they expect the incumbent party candidate to win. They're not going to be too good if we expect the incumbent party candidate to lose. Now, who's expected to win this election? The incumbent party. Clinton is ahead of Trump, the presumptive candidate, by about 4 to 5 points. And I know everyone's going to say, well, we saw one that was even. Yes, there's been some of those. There's also been some where Clinton was ahead by more than 10 points. But in general, the average right now is somewhere around 4 or 5% lead for Clinton. And, irrespective of what you think about politics, it's generally going to be better for the stock market if the incumbent party is expected to win. For this year. Okay, at least I can say that. So, again, this portends to a better stock market in the last half of the year. And in the first half of the year, by the way, that green line is what's actually happened for the Dow this year. So we didn't start off the year, matching this election index very well. But based on history, we should do better starting now.
Is this more important than that corporate earnings chart you showed? What earnings are expected?
They're all important. They all will work together. But the point I would make is that they all look better now than they have been in last quarter or at the start of the year.